guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a story time video and basically just talking to you guys about my allergies apparently to everything. So let me back up. If you haven't watched my what's in my purse video, if not, I'll link it up here. But if you have and you stayed till the end of the video, then you heard this whole spiel already. So if you have, then I'll put a timestamp right here about where you can go to skip ahead through the story. But basically, a couple years ago, I discovered that I was allergic to certain types of fruits, and they were fruits that I had eaten as a child and had eaten up until that point and was fine with, and then all of a sudden I ate them again and I had an allergic reaction to them. So the first incidence of this happening was a couple years ago. My grandmother and Micah and I went down to the beach, and on the way back we stopped at a peach stand, which are very common in South Carolina, and are very common I think in the South to like have fruit stands, like, or big fruit stands. You know, they're not like lemonade stands on the side of the road, you know, they're like a building. But anyway, so we decided to stop at the fruit stand, at the peach stand, and get some peaches because I like peaches, Micah likes peaches, my grandma likes peaches, so we decided to get some fresh peaches. So we picked up some peaches. How many times can I say peaches in this video? But we picked up some fresh peaches and we drove back home, and the next day I took the peaches out of the refrigerator and I sliced it up. And I don't know if you're supposed to eat the peel, but I don't. I don't know if that's something that people do, but I don't eat the peel. I always peel the peach, then eat the peach inside. So that's what I did. And I always wash all of my fruits, just, you know, just in case. So I did that, cut up my peach, sat down on the couch, and started to eat my peach. And a couple minutes later, I realized that my mouth was starting to itch and my tongue was starting to get itchy. And I was like, that's really weird. Whatever. I didn't really think much of it. I was like, whatever. Didn't finish the rest of my peaches because it was becoming really uncomfortable. And I was like, whatever. I'll just throw them out and go on about my day. And the itchiness and the irritation lasted for about 20 minutes or so. And it went away and everything was fine. Next day, I was like, okay, try these peaches again, and if the same thing happens, then I'll know, like, okay, don't need to eat any peaches. So I tried the peaches again, same thing happened, and I was like, alright, no more peaches. So I didn't eat the rest of the peaches, Micah ate some of them, and then we threw the rest of them out. And I went about, you know, everyday life, doing my everyday thing, and later on down the road, I buy some apples because, again, I like apples, Micah likes apples, apples are really great, and I bought some fresh apples, you know, whole apples from, I don't know, probably Walmart. And also, let me know, do you like Granny Smith apples? Do you like Gala apples? Do you like, oh, what's that big apple called? I can't remember, they're big red apples. They're not Red Delicious, but they're something else, but Red Delicious are also really good. Anyway, I prefer red apples. Anyway. Went to the grocery store, bought some apples, came back home, and started to eat my apple. Again, I wash my fruits. You know, I like to be somewhat conscious about that. I like to, you know, make sure the pesticides are off in case pesticides were used, and also just to, because sometimes, you know, when you're in the grocery store, people likes to grab. And also when you're at the grocery store, you know, I do this, I know other people do this, you like to pick and look at the fruit or vegetable, whatever you're choosing, and see if it's good, and if it's not good, you put it back. So it's just good to wash your fruit because it gets all the germs and stuff off from other people's like grabby hands. So I wash my fruit and I start eating the apple whole, I eat the peel, whatever. Same thing happens and my mouth starts to itch. I'm like, cool, I guess I'll stop eating apples. So stopped eating apples and went about my life, and again, everything was fine. Things were great. And then this past beach trip, I was in the car and I was offered some cherries, some organic cherries with the pits in them. And I was like, great, I like cherries. Cherries are good. I like to eat cherries. So had a couple cherries, had 2 cherries, and this time I noticed, like, you know, my mouth itched, my tongue itched. I was like, alright, stop on the cherries, won't eat any more cherries. And I was like, it's fine, you know, it's been fine the past few times, it'll be fine now. Didn't think anything of it. And a couple minutes went by and I started to notice that my swallowing got a lot more difficult. And it felt like there was this big lump, like right here in my throat. It just felt like this big lump in my throat. And it made it really hard to swallow. And then, you know, when you can't do something, you know, like if you can't swallow really well, you just want to keep swallowing, and you're like, maybe if I keep swallowing, then this feeling will go away. It didn't go away. And at that point, I knew, like, okay, this is a little bit more of a serious allergic reaction. Maybe I should keep an eye on my breathing. So I did. I made sure I was breathing, you know, make sure I wasn't like dying and going into like anaphylactic shock. So I made sure I was still breathing. And I texted Debbie, who was in a different car because we were caravanning, and I was like, do you have like Benadryl? Because I'm having an issue. She's like, are you okay? I was like, well, I ate some cherries and my throat's starting to feel a little weird, and it's kind of hard to swallow, but I'm still breathing. It's fine. I'm still breathing, so it's nothing serious, but you know, like, I could use something. So we stopped at a gas station, got some Benadryl. I took 2 Benadryl. And within like less than 5 minutes, I felt great. So that's what ended up happening, and I decided, all right, let me not continue to test the waters of what I am and not allergic to, and let me go see an allergist. So that's what I did. I went to go see an allergist. I went to go see someone who specializes in allergies to get myself tested to see what specifically I might be allergic to. So I've never done this, and I've never felt the need to do this, but I obviously, after this past experience with the cherries, was like, okay, I don't want to be on this uncertainty. Like, I don't want to be uncertain about what I might be allergic to and what I might not be allergic to, and then all of a sudden eat something that puts me into anaphylactic shock and then I die. So let me just go, you know, check it out. So I went to the allergist, and the lady said, you know, this is very common of something we call oral allergy syndrome, which is basically, I don't even know if I can tell you. I'll put, here's a Wikipedia thing on oral allergy syndrome. Pause the video, read it, got it, good. Okay, basically what it means is I have environmental allergens, so trees, grasses, stuff like that. I'm allergic to the environmental allergens, and because fruits are plants and they grow in the ground, and a lot of fruits, you know, grow like in the air, you know, like they come up out of the ground, like carrots, for example, grow inside the ground and you pull them out. Whereas like apples grow in trees that are in like the air, and the air can get to them. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Okay. And those environmental allergens that I'm allergic to get inside the fruit, and the proteins in the fruit are what causes me to be allergic to them and causes me to have an allergic reaction, which is why I can eat fruits like apples and peaches and cherries if they're baked, cooked, if they're processed. I can eat them just fine without any allergy issues because it breaks down those proteins that I'm allergic to. Super sciencey, you know, I kind of get it, but not 100%, but basically that's how she explained it to me. But she said, you know, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna test you for the environmental allergens to see what you're allergic to, because when you know the environmental allergens you're allergic to, you can then see the fruits that correlate with that type of environmental allergen. Does that make sense? So like, for example, I'm allergic to, I think it's like birchwood or something like that, which is, it's a type of environmental allergen, tree, plant, whatever. And then alongside that is like plums, apples, peaches, pears, tomatoes, like, so it'll list your environmental allergen and then the fruits and foods that go along with that environmental allergen. Does that make sense? I'm trying to not get super sciencey here, but because I'm not a good science person, so I'm not good at explaining science things, so I'm sorry. But basically that's what they did. They tested me for all my environmental allergens and then correlated that with the fruits that I might be allergic to. They also tested me for the fruits individually. So again, I'm gonna try to explain this in a way that's not super confusing. Since I'm allergic to the environmental allergens, that doesn't mean that I am allergic to the fruit itself. Again, that's why I can eat the fruits baked or eat them cooked or, you know, processed. For example, like people who are allergic to peanuts usually can't eat anything involving peanuts. They can't have things cooked in peanut oil. They can't have peanut butter. They can't have processed peanuts. They can't have raw peanuts. They're just allergic to peanuts in general. Me, I'm just allergic to the proteins within the fruit, so I'm not allergic to the fruit itself. Again, why I can eat processed cooked fruits. You know, does that make sense? I hope it does. So they went ahead and tested me for the environmental allergens as well as the fruit itself. So I got tested for apples, peaches, and cherries because those were the 3 fruits that I knew I had allergies to. So they do this thing called a prick/scratch test, where they basically have a tray full of needles that they stick you in the back with. And it sounds scary, but it's not. But what they do is, and I'll insert pictures throughout, but they mark up your back with letters, numbers, stuff that makes sense to them, doesn't make sense to me. They don't just write like apple, you know, they write this big number down that doesn't make sense. But apparently it means like apple. And they write all of these things down along your back, and then they take the little needle that has whatever you're possibly allergic to on it, and they like prick you in the back, and they do it all along your back, all along the letters and stuff that they wrote down to see how your body reacts. So basically, if you are allergic to something, you will start to develop, you know, a welt, kind of like a mosquito bite. For me, it looked exactly like my mosquito bites look like, because I have this thing with mosquitoes anyway. But they'll prick you in the back a bunch of times, and they'll wait 15 minutes. You're not allowed to scratch at it. You're not allowed to rub up against like a chair or anything. You have to just sit out with your back out and just wait for 15 minutes. And then they come back and they look at your back and they see what you reacted to and what you didn't react to. So how your skin reacted. If your skin welted and got red and irritated, then you're allergic, and if it didn't, then you're not allergic. The worst part of it all was the itching, and also the fact that it tickled. Like, I'm a very ticklish person, so every time she like got towards, especially towards like my lower back, basically the opposite side of my stomach, like that region, it really started to tickle, and every time she did it I would like flinch, and I really wanted to laugh, but I was like, this is serious. And so that was the worst part, was I was like, this is really ticklish. It wasn't painful, it was just really tickly. And then after a while, then it got really itchy and you couldn't scratch it, so that was kind of, you know, not great. But basically after 15 minutes, the lady comes back in and she looks at my back and she literally says, "Oh no, you're allergic to everything." And I looked at her and I was like, great. Basically my whole back was just covered in red bumps, and it was so itchy, it was so irritating. And she took down, you know, her notes, took down what I was allergic to, what my skin reacted to, and then wiped off all the writing and gave me something to help alleviate, my computer's doing something weird, I'm sorry, and gave me something to help alleviate, you know, the itchiness. And then the doctor lady, allergist lady, came in and explained to me, you know, what this means, why your body looks like this and reacts the way that it did, and why you got all itchy, and what that means, and what you're allergic to. And she ran this whole thing down, and she gave me this whole list of all the stuff that I'm allergic to, and I'm not even gonna read it off because it's literally like 3 pages of stuff, but it's a lot. And again, the stuff on the list does not necessarily mean that I'm allergic to it, it just means that I have a possibility of being allergic to it. So like, for example, if I'm allergic to like the birchwood, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to be allergic to every fruit that correlates with the birchwood, but since I am allergic to the birchwood, here are the fruits that I should be wary of. Someone's calling me. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Where was I? She went over all the stuff I'm allergic to. Yeah, I'm not necessarily allergic to everything in the list, but I should be cautious about those particular fruits, and there are some spices and like peanuts and hazelnuts that I should just be cautious of. And you know, if I do eat them, you know, make sure that I have the proper measurements to take care of an allergic reaction in case that happens. So with that being said, she wanted to prescribe me an EpiPen, which is something that you basically, if you go into anaphylactic shock, which means if you are like not breathing basically because your throat's closing out because of allergic reaction, you jab it in your side, or not in your side, in your thigh, and it releases basically a super strong Benadryl antihistamine, and it's supposed to kind of stop the allergic reaction, but you're still supposed to go to the hospital to like get proper treatment, but it's supposed to help either stop the allergic reaction or prolong the allergic reaction so you can get to the hospital in time so you don't die, basically. So she wanted to go ahead and prescribe me that, but she said that EpiPens are on back order, so she's going to prescribe me something called an ALLERGIC. So this is what an EpiPen looks like, and this is what an ALLERGIC is. So they're basically, they're pretty much the same thing, they just look a little bit different. One looks like a pin, obviously, the other one looks kind of like a cartridge or a box, but they do the same thing. Excuse me, you pull the cap off, jab it in your side, you know, go to the hospital, and hopefully you'll be fine. So there is that, and then she also suggested that, you know, just general things that I keep. Oh, also I'm allergic to cats and dogs, which is ironic because I have 2 cats, 2 dogs, and 4 cats, so that's crazy. But yeah, anyway. She also suggested, I can't say that, she also suggested that I make sure that I keep things, you know, relatively clean, make sure things are well dusted, make sure the air vents are clean, make sure that, you know, the rooms are vacuumed well to help with like the pet fur and the dander and all of that stuff, which might also help with my allergies. So we bought a Roomba to help, you know, make sure that the floors get vacuumed every day, and then, you know, I bought new air filters and stuff for the air vents, and, you know, Swiffer that I can reach the tops of the fans. You know, I went all out. And then to help, you know, with this issue in the future, she suggested that I do allergy shots, which are very common. You get a round of shots. It starts once every week, progresses to once every 2 weeks, eventually once every month, and it takes about 3 years to eventually build up an immune system to all of your allergens. And how she explained it to me was I just stopped becoming allergic to all the stuff that I'm allergic to, which is great. She says you'll feel a lot better, you'll be able to breathe clearer, you know, any problems that you might be having that might be related to your allergies, like fatigue or whatever, will go away, basically, which sounds great. So that's what she suggested I do. So that's the game plan that we're on right now. In the time being, it takes about 2 weeks for them to formulate my special serum for my shot, because my shots are personalized to my allergies, obviously, so they have to formulate a special serum for me. It takes about 2 weeks for that to happen, and they said after 2 weeks they'll call me, let me know, hey, you can come on in, get your shot, you know, whatever. Like, great. So there's that. And then, oh yeah, and then she decided to prescribe me Zyrtec to take once a day, and then a Nasacor nasal spray. Is it Nasacor or Nasacort? I don't know. It's a nasal spray to do that twice in each nostril once a day. So that's what I'm doing right now in the meantime, and then I'll start my allergy shots and be on that, and then hopefully, you know, in 3 years I'll stop being allergic to all this stuff, which is great. But I also wanted to show you what the ALLERGIC looks like because I just got it in the mail today. So this is the package that it came in. This is like a bag of something, I don't know. And then it came with 2 quite warm ice packs. So obviously they are no longer ice, they are liquids. But there was 2 of them in here because it has been very hot. And the ALLERGICs look like this, which these are not technically the ALLERGICs, these are the packages that the ALLERGICs come in, but I'm going to take one out because my plan is to have one on me at all times. So I will probably put one in my purse, maybe put one in my book bag, but maybe not. I'll probably just keep one in my purse and obviously keep one in my house, and I'll probably give one to John and Debbie to have at their house, you know, just in case. It's always a just in case. The allergist said, you know, I don't think you'll need it, but again, we want to be safe than sorry. So obviously if you do go into anaphylactic shock, you don't want to be without it. So I'm going to open it because it has a tester, or a trainer is what it's called, in it. I can't. Oh, there we go. I couldn't figure out how to open it. So it opens up like that. And here is the trainer, which is for instructional use only. And it looks exactly like the ALLERGIC looks like. So this is what the actual cartridge itself looks like. So this is what the actual ALLERGIQ carton looks like, and basically you pull off the cap and you stick it in your thigh and it administers your medicine and you hope for the best. But this is the trainer. So the trainer is obviously a very different color. That is a great thing, so you don't confuse the two, because that would be terrible if you know, have an allergic reaction and you use the trainer and the trainer's not going to do anything because the trainer doesn't have a needle in it and doesn't have medicine in it. So what happens is you pull the cap.
This trainer contains no needle or drug and is for training purposes only. Do not use this trainer during an allergic emergency.
Oh, what?
If you are ready to use, pull red safety guard down and off of this trainer.
So it tells you on the back.
If not ready to use, replace the outer case.
So on the back.
Do not use this trainer during an allergic emergency. If you are ready to use, pull red safety guard down and off of this trainer.
Okay, hold on. Hit.
This trainer.
Okay, so it says pull red safety guard down and off, place black end against outer thigh, then push firmly and hold for 2 seconds. So that's what this part says.
Pull red safety guard down and off of this trainer. Place black end against outer thigh.
And then
push firmly until you
let me get up here.
And hiss sound.
Here's an outer thigh. Here's
for 2 seconds.
Hold on. Let me get you at an optimal angle.
Place black end against outer thigh.
So
then
here's
push
my outer thigh.
until you hear a click and hiss sound. And hold in place for
and then
2
you go.
seconds. 2, 1. Training complete.
That is, it's very loud. It talks a lot, but that is what this is my epinephrine ALLERGIQ / EpiPen. I have 4 of these, so 2 came in each case. It even tells you on the top 1 trainer instructions and then 2 of your ALLERGIQs. I had 2 boxes of them. 1 will definitely go in my purse as soon as I finish this video, and then the other 2, one I will take with me, 2 John and Debbie's, 4 emergencies, you know, just in case. Again, just in case. Again, even I don't expect to use it, but it is nice to have it because I don't want to die. And until my allergy medicine starts working and kicking in, you know, I don't want to take any chances. I'm going to stay away from as many fruits that I know that I'm allergic to, so apples, peaches, and cherries. But there are other fruits like bananas. I ate a banana every single morning up until last week, and then like for the past month I've been eating bananas. For the past like 2 months I've been eating 1 banana every single morning, and then last week I ate a banana like right after my allergy appointment. I ate a banana and my throat did the same thing that happened with the cherries. It was not as severe, which was great, but I could tell like my throat's feeling a little weird. So that just happened like all of a sudden. And there are other fruits that I feel like I know I can eat, but now I'm unsure because of the whole banana thing. So like I was able to eat watermelon at the beach. I did fine with that, but watermelon is on the list of things that I might be allergic to. So, you know, it's just a gray area. So it's always better to be safe than sorry. But anyway, that's everything that I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Go down below, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get notified of when I upload videos. Also, let me know in the comments below, are you allergic to anything? Are you like severely allergic to anything? Regardless if it's like fruits or vegetables or bees or whatever, let me know. I'd like to know. We can share in our allergy issues, but let me know. And I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!